Today we are going to discuss about another phylum. We have discussed Porifera. Then the second non-chordate phylum is Coelenterata. In biological classification, we discussed up till Monera. We started Protista. That is on the track, so it will be continued after 2 days. So today we are going to discuss about Coelenterata, second non-chordate phylum. Coelenterata is the old name. Modernly, nowadays, Coelenterata phyla is called as Cnidaria. Okay, why? Because it was identified in coelenterate animals. There are some special cells in coelenterate animals. There are some special cells which are known as cnidoblast cells. Due to the presence of these cnidoblast cells, the name is given Cnidaria. Initially, it was called Coelenterata. If you say Coelenterata, if you say Cnidaria, both are same. Coelenterata is the old name, Cnidaria is the new name. Right? Now let us see what are the features of these coelenterates. Now most of the coelenterates are marine. Most of them are marine. It means they prefer to live in ocean water. They prefer to live in oceanic water, but few are fresh water. So some cnidarians live in fresh water also. Example is Hydra. Hydra is the very famous cnidarian, very most common cnidarian are coelenterate. So most of the coelenterates are marine, but few are living in fresh water. Okay. Now these cnidarians are sessile. I have already said you the meaning of the sessile. Did you remember what is the meaning of sessile?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is sessile?
Free swimming.
Sessile means free swimming.
Fixed at one plane.
Very good. So sessile means with little or no physical activity. We can say that it is fixed at one place. Sedentary means fixed at one place. Sessile means having little movement. It will not show movement. That is the meaning of sessile. Okay. So most of the coelenterates may be sessile, or some are free swimming. Some coelenterates will swim in the water. Okay. Some coelenterates will swim in the water. Now they are radially symmetrical. All the coelenterates have cylindrical body generally, so they are having radial symmetry. Okay, and they are diploblastic. They have two germ layers. Outer ectoderm, inner endoderm. There is no mesoderm present, so we are saying diploblastic animals. Okay, they have tissue level of organization. Tissue level of organization. So this is a very important point. So coelenterates are the first animals to form tissues. In Poriferans there were no tissues, but coelenterates are the first animals to form tissues. So tissue level of organization means what? Cells aggregate to form tissues. So tissues सबसे पहले coelenterates में बनना चालू हुआ. ये बहुत important point है, tissue level of organization. So we can say that coelenterates में ही सबसे पहले tissues बने हैं. Okay, so they have tissue level of organization or blind sac body plan. Did you remember what is blind sac body plan? Any idea?
Only one opening.
Right.
Only one.
Very good. So digestive system has only one opening. That one opening serves as mouth as well as anus. Okay, so if an organism has one opening in the digestive system, we say it as blind sac body plan. Okay, so most of the coelenterates are marine, few are freshwater. Most of the coelenterates may be sessile, showing little physical activity. Some are free living, free swimming. Coelenterates have radial symmetry. Body can be cut into two equal halves in radial plane. Coelenterates have two germ layers, diploblastic, tissue level of organization, blind sac body plan. Okay. Now again, some important feature of coelenterates is that they may be colonical. They may be colonical or solitary. It means some coelenterate will prefer to live in groups. Some coelenterates will prefer to live in groups. Some coelenterates live singly, solely. So solitary means living singly is known as solitary. Colonical means living in colonies, living in groups. Okay. Now, moving to this bland sac body plan. So we are saying that it is having only one cavity, one opening. So this opening, this single opening, it is named as hypostome. Remember the name hypostome. So hypostome is the opening of the digestive system. So suppose this is the coelenterate. The coelenterate animal will have a single opening which is known as what, hypostome. And from this opening only it will take in food and it will give out excretory materials. Okay, the opening which is present in coelenterate is named as what, hypostome. Single opening, blind sac body plan. Now again important feature of this coelenterate is, now if you take body wall, body wall is having two layers, outer epidermis and inner gastrodermis. Okay, so in the coelenterate, body wall is of two layers, outer epidermis and inner gastrodermis, and in between this outer and inner layer there is mesoglia. There is mesoglia. Okay, so the body wall is having two layers, one is epidermis, another one is gastrodermis. In between epidermis and gastrodermis there is mesoglia. This mesoglia is non-cellular, gelatinous, non-living. Mesoglia is non-cellular, gelatinous and non-living. Okay, so the body wall, it is having two layers, epidermis and gastrodermis. In between epidermis and gastrodermis we have, what you can say, we have mesoglia. Suppose this is a coelenterate animal. Suppose generally coelenterates are cylindrical in shape. There is a single opening which is known as hypostome. Now this is the body wall. Body wall having two layers. Body wall having two layers. This is epidermis. This blue line, gastrodermis. In between epidermis and gastrodermis, there is non-cellular, non-living, this mesenchyme. This is a mesenchyme which is present, sorry, mesoglia. Now, this space which is present inside the body of a coelenterate, we say it as coelenteron. What we say? This is coelenteron. Understanding the point here. So, this hypostome is generally opening into a space. This space is called as what? Coelenteron. The coelenteron is also called as gastrovascular cavity. Gastrovascular cavity is not coelom. What is coelom? The space between body wall and alimentary canal. So space between the body wall and alimentary canal, there is no coelom. Okay. So, but the hypostome is building into some space. That space we are saying it as what? Coelenteron, which is also known as gastrovascular cavity. So our hypostome, it leads to gastrovascular cavity. This gastrovascular cavity is also called coelenteron. It is also called coelenteron, right? Now, these coelenterates, some are colonical. It means they live in colonies. Some are solitary, live in single. अकेला ही रहता है. Okay. Now, colonical example is Phaceala. This is a coelenterate which lives in colonies, and Hydra is a coelenterate which prefer to live solitary, singly. Okay. So the opening of coelenterate we say hypostome, body wall, epidermis, gastrodermis, mesoglia. Hypostime leads to gastrovascular cavity or coelenterum. Some coelenterate are colonical, some coelenterate are solitary, living in single. Now, the special thing of these coelenterate is that they have nidoblast cells. The coelenterate will have nidoblast cells on their tentacles. Okay. Now, if you look at this coelenterate animal, suppose this is a hydra. This is a hydra. So hydra will be having small thread-like structures which are known as what? Tentacles. I'll draw neatly. So can I rub this?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the speciality of these coelenterate animals? They have nidoblast cells. Suppose this is a coelenterate animal. This is the hypostome. This is a round circle hypostome, and they have some structures which are known as what? Tentacles. These are known as what? Tentacles. What are tentacles? Thread-like structures present over the coelenterate. We say them as tentacles. So upon these tentacles, there are some cells. Tentacles के ऊपर कुछ cells होते हैं. Okay. These cells are called as nidoblast cells. They are called as what? Nidoblast cells. Clear? Now, there are nidoblast cells. There are nidoblast cells on tentacles. So the name Nidaria. They are called Nidarians because of nidoblast cells. Coelenterate के tentacles के ऊपर nidoblast cells होने के वजह से ही इन्हें Nidaria नाम दिया गया. अब ये nidoblast cells का what is the function of this nidoblast cells? This nidoblast cells uses, first use is anchorage. Anchorage. Huh? Any doubt?
Sir, on all the Nidaria, there are tentacles.
Yeah, in majority of the Nidarians, there will be tentacles. So upon
Okay,
these
sir.
tentacles, there will be nidoblast cells. Okay. Due to the presence of these nidoblast cells only, coelentrates are also called as Nidarians. Okay. So these nidoblast cells are used for anchorage. Anchorage means to fix to a surface to have a grip. That is known as what? Anchorage. And second, defense. Nidoblast cells protect the coelenterate animals from other harmful predators or other animals. That is defense. Capture of prey. So Nidarians will hunt small aquatic animals with the help of their tentacles and nidoblast cells only. So nidoblast cells are very useful for Nidarians. They help in anchorage, defense, and capture of prey. So due to the presence of these nidoblast cells, coelentrates are named as Nidarians. Nidaria is a modern name given to coelentrates. Okay. Now these nidoblast cells are also called as stinging cells. Other name. Nidoblast cells are also called as stinging cells. They are also called as nichel cells. Nichel. Right? So nidoblast cells are also called as stinging cells. They are also called as nichel cells. Due to nidoblast cells, Nidarians, Nidaria, the name was given. Initially, they were called coelentrates. Modernly, nidoblast cells were discovered upon the tentacles of coelentrates. So the name Nidaria is given. So these nidoblast cells help in anchorage, defense, and capture of prey. Okay, all are following. Any confusion is there?
So,
All are following. Should I use Hindi? Yeah.
Sir, is there some kind of fluid or liquid in nidoblast cells so that it can defend itself from the predators?
Yeah, so nidoblast cells will have some sort of poisonous fluids in their cells, and when any harmful organism comes near it, it will sting it. Sting matlab काटना, okay, and it will release the chemicals. So by that only it is protecting itself from the harmful organisms. Okay. So others, you are understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Should I use Hindi?
No, sir.
No need, no.
No.
You can say freely. It's not that we are not interested in the language what we speak. Understanding concept is important. So if you feel energetic, Hindi and English means I will use Hindi also, no problem. Right. So this is the thing. So you have to remember the name nidoblast cells. Now another important property of this our nidarians is that they have 5 types of cells in their body. Okay, so they have 5 types of cells. You have to remember the cells name. They have 5 types of cells. Okay, what are the 5 types of cells means? One is muscular cells. One is muscular cells. Second one is nerve cells. Muscular cells, nerve cells, interstitial cells, interstitial cells. Again, they have secretory endothelioglandular cells. Secretory endothelioglandular cells. Last is sensory cells. Now let us see what are the functions of these cells. So they have 5 types of cells: muscular cells, nerve cells, interstitial cells, secretory endothelioglandular cells, and sensory cells. These muscular cells, they help in nutrition, that is the digestion of the food, etc., etc. Nerve cells, you know very well what is the function of nerve cells: impulse transmission. Okay, what is the use of nerve cells in the body? We are able to feel because of nerve cells only. Interstitial cells, they help in protection. They help in secretion of enzymes. Sensory cell help to sense the surroundings. Okay. So cnidarians are living organisms because they are conscious, but they are not self-conscious. They are conscious because they can sense their surroundings with the help of the sensory cells, which are located on different locations of the body. So these are the 5 important types of cells which cnidarians have: muscular cells, nerve cells, interstitial cells, secretory glandular cells, and finally sensory cells. Now when you go for digestion in these cnidarians, 2 modes of digestion occur in cnidarians. One is intracellular digestion, which takes place inside the cell. Another one is extracellular digestion, which takes place outside the cell. Intracellular means inside the cell, extracellular means outside the cell. Intracellular digestion takes place in muscular cells, inside the muscular cells. Extracellular digestion takes place inside the coelenteron. So our cnidarians will have 2 modes of digestion. Okay, extracellular. So where the extracellular digestion will occur, it will occur in coelenteron. They also have intracellular digestion, where this intracellular digestion will occur in nutritive cells or in muscular cells. But poriferans will show only one type of digestion, that is intracellular digestion, but cnidarians are showing two types of digestion, intracellular as well as extracellular. So intracellular digestion is taking place inside the muscular cells, whereas extracellular digestion is taking place inside the coelenteron. Coelenteron is also called as what cavity? What is the name given to, another name given to coelenteron?
Gastrovascular cavity.
या गैस्ट्रोवास्कुलर कैविटी. सो ये पॉइंट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि पोरिफेरेंस में इंट्रासेलुलर डाइजेशन ही होता है, मगर अपने सीलेंट्रेट्स में इंट्रासेलुलर भी होता है और एक्स्ट्रासेलुलर डाइजेशन भी होता है. इंट्रासेलुलर डाइजेशन का मतलब होता है जब डाइजेशन सेल के अंदर होता है उसे हम बोलते हैं इंट्रासेलुलर, अगर डाइजेशन सेल के बाहर होता है तो हम उसको बोलते हैं इंट्रासेलुलर. सो ये निडेरियंस के दो यूनिक प्रॉपर्टीज ये है कि इनमें पहले सबसे पहले टिश्यूज बनना इनमें इनसे ही चालू हुआ, टिश्यू ग्रेड. सेकंड थिंग ये स्पेशल इसीलिए है क्योंकि इनमें न्यूरोब्लास्ट सेल्स हैं. न्यूरोब्लास्ट सेल्स होने के वजह से इनका नाम दिया गया निडेरिया, मॉडर्न नेम. ओके, और भी इनके स्पेशलिटीज हैं, अलग अलग स्पेशलिटीज हैं. इनमें सेंस ऑर्गन्स भी होते हैं, जैसे हमारे सेंस ऑर्गन्स हैं, we have 5 सेंस ऑर्गन्स. ये निडेरियंस में 2 सेंस ऑर्गन्स होते हैं जिनका नाम देखेंगे.
So can you once tell anchorage function?
What anchorage? Meaning you, what is the meaning of anchorage you are asking?
Yes, sir.
Anchorage means attachment to anything. Suppose a coelenterate animal is there, coelenterate wants to fix itself to any rock or to any other substance, that we say it as anchorage. Okay, like roots anchor that plant to the soil. So like that, the neuroblast cells are also helping the coelenterate animal to fix to substratum. That fixing process only we are saying it as anchorage. Okay,
Yes, sir.
right. Now,
Sir,
yeah, meet
what is the function of interstitial cells?
protection. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Interstitial cells will help the coelentrates to protect themselves from different what you can say organisms. Why? Because as the coelenterate lives in as small animals, small animals, they may be getting attacked by fishes or any aquatic animals, so they are in danger only. So how they will try to protect themselves with the help of neuroblast cells and our interstitial cells. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
sense organs. They have 2 cells which are acting as sense organs. One is known as statocyst. Statocyst is the name of the sense organ of coelenterate. Remember the name statocyst. And second sense organ is tentaculocyst. Okay, but the sense organs are present only in free swimming form. As I have already said you, some of the coelenterates are sessile, some are free swimming. So only the coelenterate which is free swimming, in that 2 sense organs are there, statocyst and tentaculocyst. Now sense organs, statocyst, tentaculocyst. Now you remember one thing, like human beings, our poriferans do not have vision, hearing capacity. All that things are not developed. Only they can predict little changes which are going to occur in the surroundings. But if you go near a poriferan, it cannot identify that something is coming. Understood? No? So all the sense organs are not developed. Only the sense organs of little sense, temperature detection. If temperature is changed, they can detect. If salinity of the water is changed, they can detect. If something is coming by vibrations, they can detect. but they cannot see, they cannot hear, they can't talk also. Okay, so statocyst and tentaculocyst are the sense organs which are present in the coelenterids. They are present only in free swimming form. As we discussed, the coelenterids are of two categories. One are sessile, and some coelenterids are free swimming. In free swimming coelenterids, sense organs are present. Okay. Now again, they have one basic peculiarity. They occur in two body forms. This is the most unique property. They occur in two body forms or body plans. So coelenterate may be in medusa stage or it may be in polyp stage. Okay, it means that coelenterates are showing different forms in their life cycle. Clear? So coelenterate may be in medusa form, it may be in polyp form, anything. Now, what is the major difference in medusa plan and polyp plan is, you see the major difference is when you take I am writing polyp here for convenience, polyp form and medusa. Now, what I am saying, coelenterates are present in two body forms or two body plans. One is polyp, another one is medulla. What is polyp? How it will be? If it is in a polyp form, it will be sessile, sedentary. Sorry, sessile, and it will be cylindrical. If you see a coelenterate, if it is sessile and cylindrical, you can say that it is in a polyp form. If it is sessile and if it is cylindrical, you can say that it is in a polyp form. Second feature, how to identify. It may be solitary or colonical. So this polyp form may be living singly or it may be living in colonical form. Mouth and tentacles directed upwards. इसका माउथ और टेंटिकल्स जो है ऊपर की तरफ होंगे. Okay, this is the polyp body plan. So if a coelenterate is in a polyp form, it will be sessile and cylindrical. It may be solitary or colonical. Mouth and tentacles are present up. Now, when you see the diagram, you will clearly understand it. Let me complete my points. Medusa form will be umbrella shaped. It is free swimming. It is not sessile. It will be free swimming. Right? Always solitary. हमेशा अकेला. Right? Mouth and tentacles are directed downwards. Right? Now I will show you the diagram. By seeing the diagram, you can easily differentiate what is polyp, what is medusa. Right? All are ready to see the diagram?
Yes, sir.
Right. You see, first one, I am enlarging it. It is given clearly, medusa form and polyp form. So if you see medusa form, it is umbrella shaped. Mouth and tentacles are downwards. But if you see the polyp form, Mouth and tentacles are directed upward. You are able to see the differentiate.
Yes, sir.
This is there. So it is an umbrella shaped. So it is in medusa form. Now if you see this, it is in polyp form. Yes. The hair-like structures you are seeing, these hair-like structures, these are nothing but tentacles. These hair-like structures, these are nothing but tentacles. On these tentacles, there are nidoblast cells. On these tentacles only, there are nidoblast cells. Understood the difference between polyp and medusa form?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, another outstanding unique feature about the coelenterate is they have one unique property. Now, this medusa form, it will reproduce asexually. To form polyp form. Medusa form will reproduce asexually to form polyp form. This is the medusa form. It is reproducing asexually to form polyp form. This polyp will reproduce sexually to form medusa form. This is a very, very important point. Medusa will reproduce asexually without formation of gametes, without fusion of gametes to form polyp. Polyp will reproduce sexually to form medusa. So this phenomenon, the above phenomenon, is called alternation of generation. It is called as what? Alternation of generation. Why we are saying alternation of generation? After medusa generation, polyp generation will come. After polyp generation, medusa generation will come. It is also called metagenesis. It is also called as what? Metagenesis. What is metagenesis? Medusa form reproduces asexually to form polyp form. Polyp will reproduce sexually to form medusa form. This is called alternation of generation. This is also called metagenesis. So in life cycle of coelenterate, medusa and polyp will be coming. So a coelenterate may be in polyp form and it will become medusa form. If it is in medusa form, it reproduces asexually to become polyp form. Anything it can do. This is called as what? Metagenesis. Very striking point, very important point. Okay.
So how can they change this? Means like from medusa they can change to polyp.
See, when a coelenterate is in medusa form, if it undergoes asexual reproduction, then only it can change into polyp form. What is the basic change it is going to occur? In the medusa form, how the organism will be? How mouth and tentacles will be there?
Downward.
So in medusa form, mouth and tentacles will be downward and it will be umbrella shape. So when this medusa form reproduces asexually, it will produce a cylindrical structure having mouth and tentacles upwards. That we are saying it as what? Polyp form. It means that coelenterates are showing, what you can say, coelenterates are exhibiting different types of morphologies. Medusa is having another Medusa is having one morphology, polyp is having one morphology. Morphology means what? Size, structure, shape. Medusa का size, structure, shape अलग है, polyp का
Sir,
size, हाँ,
sorry sir for interruption, but sir, medusa form polyp sexually and polyp form medusa asexually.
okay, 1 minute, let me check once. Medusa reproduces asexually to form polyp. Polyp,
Yes.
yeah, so Medusa is reproducing asexually only. No?
Sir, polyp produce medusa asexually and medusa form polyp sexually.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir, it is given in NCERT.
Sir, yes, it is also given in module.
Page
Okay.
number 50.
Okay, very good, no problem. Now it is correct. Okay,
Yes.
so this as polyp and medusa are having different morphologies, so we can also add one point here that our coelentrates are polymorphic. Okay, so some of the coelentrate will be exhibiting different types of sizes and shapes in their course of life. Okay, and this phenomenon we are also saying it as what? Polymorphism. Human beings do not show polymorphism, but some are lower animals exhibit polymorphism. Clear?
Sir, polymorphism मतलब ही metagenesis ना?
पॉलीमॉर्फिज्म और मेटाजेनेसिस में थोड़ा फर्क है कि मेटाजेनेसिस में सिर्फ मेडुसा और पॉलिप फॉर्म्स ही बनते हैं. ओके, सो मेडुसा का कुछ अलग मॉर्फोलॉजी है और पॉलिप का कुछ अलग मॉर्फोलॉजी है, बट एक कुछ स्पेशल सीलेंट्रेट्स हैं जो मेडुसा पॉलिप के साथ साथ और कुछ अलग अलग रूप में दिखते हैं. ओके, दैट इज नोन एज पॉलीमॉर्फिज्म. तो मेडुसा एंड पॉलिप आर कॉमन टू एवरी सीलेंट्रेट. कोई भी सीलेंट्रेट है तो वो मेडुसा पॉलिप फॉर्म में रहना ही रहना. बट कुछ सीलेंट्रेट्स ऐसे हैं मेडुसा में भी रहते हैं, पॉलिप में भी रहते हैं और कुछ अलग शेप्स में भी रहते हैं, इसीलिए हम उनको we say that as polymorphism. Okay, not all, only some coelentrates. So this is
This
the
occurs in all the coelentrates.
what, Savani?
This occurs in all the coelentrates.
Actually, see, here also there is one controversy. According to some scientists, all coelentrates. According to some group of scientists, say that some coelentrates. But according to module and NCERT, all coelentrates. Okay. So we can write that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
I am following what is in NCERT only. So coelentrates exhibit polymorphism. Okay, so coelentrates are exhibiting polymorphism, and again some cnidarians form corals. Do you have any idea about corals?
Yes, sir.
What
Yes,
are
sir.
corals? Once you say me.
So corals are structure of living organisms that lives on the surface of ocean and
Right.
form a surface-like structure.
Very
But
good.
sir, when they are dead, they come to the seashore.
When they once you repeat.
When they are dead, they come to the seashore.
Very good. So now, as we have seen in our monerans, diatoms, diatomaceous earth, like that only some coelenterate will form some special structures which are known as corals. Okay, on the surface of the water, and these corals are made up of a chemical known as calcium carbonate. Okay, so calcium carbonate is a chemical by which our corals are made. Some cnidarians have this property also to form different types of beautiful structures in the oceanic surface, which are known as what? Corals. So here I am using the word cnidaria only. You can use coelenterate also. I have already said you that coelenterate and cnidaria both are same. And these corals are made up of a chemical. You have to remember the chemical name. calcium carbonate, CaCO3, chemical formula. Okay. Now, apart from this, coelanthrates have many features, but in our NCRT and in module, whatever the features are mentioned, that only I have discussed here. The most striking feature of cnidarians, once again I recapitulate you, most striking feature, first tissue grade animals. So tissues were first formed in coelanthrates only, first speciality. Second speciality, nidoblast cells. Third speciality, polyp medusa. Fourth speciality, polymorphism. Fifth speciality, corals. Okay. Now, when you take these coelanthrates, some the development in coelanthrates, reproduction in coelanthrates occurs by sexual methods. It also occurs by asexual methods. In asexual method, budding is the most common asexual method, and in sexual method, fusion of gametes will be there, gametic formation will be there. So that is a sexual reproduction. And development in cnidarians is indirect. It means they show a larval form in their life cycle. So when a larva is there, means no doubt we will say the development as indirect development. So they reproduce asexually by budding. Now sexually by forming male and female gametes.
Sir, in
So,
corals example, what you have written?
Corals are made up of chemical calcium carbonate. I have written this
Okay,
CaCO3.
sir.
Okay. So asexual reproduction they undergo by budding, and they will show larva in their life cycle. You have to remember the larva name, planula larva. Okay. Some cnidarians will show planula larva, and some cnidarians will show Epheria larva. These are the larval stages. So you remember one thing, in every phylum, if there is a larval stage, you have to remember the names of larva, because in the NEET examination, he will ask you larval stages also. He will give you the larva at one side and he will ask you to match with their phylum. For example, if you take Porifera, we have studied that Porifera has two larvas, Amphiblastula larva, Parenchyma larva. Okay. So larval stages, larval names you have to remember namely. So now let us see one coelenterate animal. Where it is. 1 minute, I'm not getting that photo. Right. This is one coelenterate, which is the most popular Hydra actually. Now mouth and tentacles are upward. Now it is in which form?
Medusa.
Right.
Medusa.
So now this is an Hydra. Hypostome opening, body opening, we say it as an hypostome. Hypostome leads into body.
So now it
Gastrovascular
is in
cavity.
polyp, no, because the mouth and tentacles are upwards.
Yeah. If mouth and tentacles are upward means it is in polyp form. If mouth and tentacles are downward means it is in
Medusa.
Sir, sir,
uh,
sir, if polyp will sexually reproduce, it will form different organism, totally different organism, or it will remain hydra only of different kind.
no, it will remain a Hydra only, but the morphology will be changed. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Morphology means size, shape, structure. So generally, our generally coelenterate will reproduce most probably by asexual methods only. In lower animals, sexual reproduction is not much developed. Okay. So this is the structure diagram of the Hydra. These are the larval stages. Now we have many examples of coelenterate. You have to remember, memorize the examples along with their common name. Okay. So in our Porifera, there were only 3 examples: use spongia, spongilla, bath sponge, like that way. But in Coelenterata, many examples are given in the module. Again and again, I am saying, plant kingdom, animal kingdom, biological classification, living world. Whatever in NCERT, from that only questions will come in NEET examination. Not more than that. It is 100%. Okay. But in the module, many examples are given. Now you have to do what you have to do. You have to remember NCERT examples thoroughly. If you forget module example also, it's not a problem. Okay.
सर वो लार्वल स्टेज के नाम के एक बार बताओ ना.
Planula, एफीरिया. दिख रहा है मतलब नेटवर्क इशू है क्या? यू आर एबल टू सी द बोर्ड क्लियरली?
Yes, sir.
Right. Some selected from our module. If I had these names, okay. Physalia is one coelenterate, which is called Portuguese man of war. Metridium. This Metridium lives on hermit crab. So there is a crab known as hermit crab in the oceans. Upon this hermit crab, this Metridium coelenterate will live as commensal. Now, what is commensal? It means, suppose this is a crab. Upon the crab, our coelenterate is living. Now, both are doing mutual. Suppose what the Metridium is doing, Metridium is getting food and shelter from this crab, but crab is not getting any benefit from this coelenterate. So, if there is an association between two organisms, if both are benefited, we say symbiosis. दोनों का अगर benefit होता है, if one is benefited and other is lost, we say that parasitism. If one is benefited and other one is not benefited, neither it is harmed, we say it as commensal.
सर रिपीट वंस अगेन.
सर रिपीट करो, आपका आवाज क्लियर नहीं आ रहा.
Once you all mute your microphone, please students you mute once. थोड़ा आपके आवाज आ रहा है. रोहन प्लीज म्यूट. रोहन. Okay. Now A and B are there. अब ये दोनों का एसोसिएशन है, दोनों साथ में है. What A is giving? A is giving food, B is giving water. दोनों का बेनिफिट है. ए को पानी मिल रहा, बी को खाना मिल रहा. जब रिलेशन में दोनों का बेनिफिट होता है, म्यूचुअल बेनिफिट होता है, तो हम उसको बोलते हैं सिम्बायोसिस. In symbiosis, both are benefit. Understanding the point here? In symbiosis, both are benefit. What is parasitism? Opposite. A है, B है. A is getting food from B, and A is also doing damage or this. A is giving disease to B. इसका मतलब इसमें A का बेनिफिट हुआ क्योंकि उसको B से फूड मिला, बट B का लॉस हुआ क्योंकि उसको बीमार होना पड़ा. इसको हम बोलते हैं पैरासिटिज्म. अंडरस्टूड? पैरासिटिज्म में वन इज बेनिफिटेड, अनदर वन इज लॉस. दूसरा एक रिलेशन होता है जिसको हम बोलते हैं कमेंसलिज्म। ओके, इसमें ए और बी है। ए का बेनिफिट हुआ, इसका ना लॉस हुआ ना ही बेनिफिट। ओके, दैट इज नोन एज व्हाट, कमेंसलिज्म। तो ये जो मेट्रीडियम सिलेंडरेट है क्रैप के ऊपर रहता है, जिसके वजह से मेट्रीडियम को ही बेनिफिट होता है कि क्रैप का खाना भी ये चुरा के खा लेता है, बट क्रैप को कुछ बेनिफिट मेट्रीडियम से नहीं होता। ओके, अंडरस्टूड नो? नेक्स्ट एग्जांपल इज Adamsia. This is another coelenterate which is called sea anemone.
Sir, what was the last relationship?
Commensalism. Okay, we have many relationships. Most famous one is parasitism and symbiosis. You have studied this in your 10th class. Parasites, symbionts, we have discussed it. We have discussed it means in the 10th class we have studied rhizobium, nitrogen fixing bacteria, making curd. All these are examples of symbiosis. Okay. Next poriferan, next coelenterate is Pennatula, which is called sea pen. Again, there is coelenterate Meandrina, which is called drain coral. Just you have to remember Obelia, which is called sea fur. Gorgonia, it is called sea fan. Okay. So these many examples are given, but I am again saying you, whatever the examples mentioned in NCERT, that you have to specifically remember. Only NCERT examples will be asked in NEET examination, not other examples. Point is clear?
Yes, sir.
But अभी
Yes,
आपको
sir.
आपके मन में ये क्वेश्चन भी आ सकता है, जब सर एनसीईआरटी के ये एग्जाम्पल्स आने वाले हैं तो ये पूरे क्यों लिखा है? ये लिखाने का रीजन ये है कि जब आप मॉड्यूल के एमसीक्यूज को सॉल्व करते हो, ये आएंगे तो फिर आपको लगेगा कि सर ने फिर पढ़ाया नहीं। अंडरस्टूड द पॉइंट हियर? ओके, राइट। So this is the phylum Nidaria, Coelenterata, etc., etc. So can you say what are the uses of nidoblast cells which you remembered? Uses of nidoblast cells.
Anocharge, defense, and capture of prey.
Yeah. Capture of prey and defense also. Now, Rohan, can you name the sense organs of our cnidarians? Sense organs of cnidarians. Kruti, can you say?
Sir, statocyst and tentaculocyst.
Very good. Statocyst and tentaculocyst are the sense organs. Now, Anand, can you say कि statocyst और tentaculocyst कौन से cnidarians में, सभी cnidarians में है क्या, कुछ special cnidarians में है?
सर सभी इसमें है।
सभी इसमें है. Okay. So, Meet, what is your answer? Do you accept that answer as correct one?
No, sir. Only in free swimming form of nidorians these two sense organ are present.
Very good. So only in free swimming cnidarians only they are there. Now, Kuber, can you say about digestion in cnidarians? How digestion is taking place? Prachit? Not Prachit, okay. Prachiti. Sambodhi, can you say something? Kruti?
Sir, digestion in cnidarians takes place both extracellular and intracellular ways. In extracellular takes place in coelentrates and intracellular takes place in muscular cells.
Very good. In muscular cells. Very good. So correct answer. So this is for today, coelenterata. So tomorrow on our as usual time, we will discuss the another phylum. After coelenterata, what is there, that phylum we will discuss. Okay, I am saying whatever the examples, whatever the points mentioned in NCERT, that only will come in NEET examination from animal kingdom, plant kingdom, biological classification, living world. Okay, so it's very, very important to remember all the NCERT points tip of the tongue. So you have to do written practice, then you can easily remember. Okay, then I'm ending the session. We'll meet tomorrow with a fresh topic.
Bye, sir. Good day.
Yeah, bye to all. Take care all.
Bye, sir.
Bye to all.